Pop flies, one of the toughest catches in baseball to make. Coming up next. In this video, we're going to cover several aspects of catching pop flies, which are extremely important for first and third basemen and catchers to understand, and to a lesser degree, pitchers as well. We'll begin with the catcher, as they have much more to do on even pop flies they don't need to catch. We'll start here.
Of the outstretched arms of the catcher.
I'll tell you, the dive like that towards that fence always makes me nervous for catcher or anybody outfielder running to get those.
Most of the time, you'll see those catchers slide into the
feet
fence
first,
just for safety reasons.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He pops it up behind home plate. Tough play for Pum, and he ran head first into the backstop. Didn't come up with the catch. Boy, and that smarts a little bit.
My goodness, the effort. We've seen some incredible effort plays here in Indianapolis, and you can see him with no regard for his health going headfirst into that fence, laying out for his team.
The first clip ended up off camera, something I'm committed to prevent from happening in the future. Later in this video, you'll see my new camera setup, and you'll not want to miss it. But as the first commentator mentioned, catchers are much better off going feet first to catch pop fly near fences and dugouts. It's far safer. But when the only possible catch needs to be a headfirst dive, well, you do what you need to do sometimes. Another issue for catchers is their mask. Just dumping it immediately can result in injury. No matter how often I've talked with our catcher, he's still a dump-and-go catcher with pop flies. Anyway, the right way to do this is to hold the mask until you identify the location of the pop fly and then toss it. I'm convinced that this umpire actually told the catcher to toss the mask to him. Umpires are not watching the ball like everyone else. They watch the fielders, so this isn't as rare as you may think. Adley Rutschman does it correctly, but the commentator makes a silly statement.
Grettler will make the catch.
And I'll tell you, Grettler might have some words for Rutschman after the game. Watch Rutschman throw his mask on the field. You're taught to throw it off the field. So basically it's a landmine for Grettler. Michael probably has to say to Adley, hey, I thought we throw the mask off the field.
Yeah.
Throw it out of play? You mean into the stands? Okay, he meant to foul territory, but that's actually not true. You just throw it where it won't be in your way. Normally, a corner infielder is going to have a better chance at catching a pop fly if they can get to it, so they will call off a catcher. This is what happens when you know your first baseman can't catch a pop fly to save his life. This is an extremely difficult catch to make. This pitcher, however, seemed immensely confident.
Get up, Joey! Plenty of room. What? Nice catch.
Even if the catcher or corner fielder is not going to catch pop fly, they still have a job to communicate to their teammate how close to the fence they are. The players in the dugout can also help with this if it's on their side of the field. This clip occurred just a couple days ago, and I actually redid this video to add it in here. Here, the first baseman will have to deal with a pop fly near a fence. The catcher immediately goes towards the fence to let him know if he has room. Of all the year's filming games, this year I finally have the whole foul territory on screen. Check this out. Here's my center field camera. This is 410 feet from the camera. It's a Pixel 6 Pro with optical zoom. Now I get to have views from the outfield. It's not perfect, but I'm excited about what I'll be able to do with the additional point of view. That being said, here's that same pop fly from a camera just a wee bit closer to the catcher. Finally, with fences, a fielder also has the option to find the fence and then get to the ball if they have time. Missing a pop fly can be a little embarrassing because to the average baseball fan, they look pretty simple. Just wait for it and catch it. They are, in fact, much more difficult than this to catch. The main culprit is called the Magnus Effect, named after the German physicist Heinrich Gustav Magnus, who described the effect in 1852. It basically is the force applied to a spherical object traveling through air when that object is spinning. Here is a perfect example of the Magnus Effect on a basketball dropped from over 400 feet. Without spin, the ball falls mostly straight down but bounces around through the air. When the spin is added, the ball does not bounce through the air, but is smooth, and more importantly, it moves in the direction of the spin. A pop fly is spinning at an extremely high speed. On the way down, it gains speed and is pushed toward the playing field. It appears to the person fielding it that it will fall right to them, but from their viewpoint, at the last second it curves radically toward the infield. In baseball, we call that the infield drift. So to catch a pop fly, the fielder needs to stand about 10 feet further back from where he thinks the ball will actually land. If he misjudges and is too far back, walking forward a step or two is far simpler than stepping backward. And I have never once seen a fielder end up stepping forward to catch a pop fly they were waiting under. Even players that know this still end up catching most pop flies behind their heads. In that last one, you heard a spectator yell, "Wind, wind, wind!" At that game, the wind was blowing to center field at a consistent 20 miles per hour, so wind is just adding to the distance the ball will drift.
Good job, Joey. Good job, Joey.